Hey guys, what's up? Once again welcome to movie Buzz Ltd. This is the story of Dong-soo, a boy with extraordinary abilities. He was walking to the bus stop while singing the song he had written. Meanwhile, a group of people arrives and kidnaps him. They actually kidnap people and sell their organs. They take Dong-soo to a doctor, and the surgeon removes all of his organs. Dong-soo was nearly dead, but the strange thing was that he was watching the doctor while doing all of this. The doctor has removed his eyes and placed them on a tray before going on the phone. However, strange tentacles emerge from Dong-soo's body, and his body begins to repair. The doctor gets scared to see him as he puts his eyes back. As he was finding his other eye, the doctor calls the goons, but Dong-soo escapes from there. After a few days, there was an incident in which someone placed a lovely lady statue in the middle of the road. Everyone was watching it because she was beautiful, but as they took pictures of it, the statue began to bleed. It is discovered here that the statue was a human who was turned into a statue. As word spread, the police were called. The inspector spends a long time looking into it. They discover that there are two symbols, P and N. Dong-soo, who has a bandage on his eye and lives a sad life, is shown. When he was practicing his own song at night, his eye began to ache. With his missing eye, he sees the same symbol that was on the body of the statue. He notices many other things and discovers that a man has Dong-soo's eye. That's why everything that man was doing was visible to Dong-soo, and he goes to his junkyard job. Meanwhile, a few people were beating his friend, and he attempted to assist him. He was beaten, and then one of them pulled out a knife to put an end to Dong-soo. But Dong-soo fights him, and during all of this, the poor Dong-soo's cuts. It falls on the land, and seeing this, they all run from there. As they leave, Dong-soo picks up his ear and joins it back with his strange powers. The gang that sells body organs was also looking for Dong-soo, as they discovered his body and organs were unique. It can be repaired regardless of how badly you hurt it, and this type of body costs $1 billion on the market. Dong-soo returns home after the fight, where he was practicing his song. However, he does not know the proper lyrics to the song, so he listens to it again and begins practicing. Meanwhile, he witnesses the man who has his eye. And he was also listening to his song, but Dong-soo's eye begins to ache, so he decides to return there. The location where he was taken, and will find his eye. The people who were behind him recognized him and tried to capture him. He was running while escaping from them, but a girl named Lee arrives and saved him. She says, "I know you're Dong-soo," and then cuts his leg with her knife. But it heals after a while, and Dong-soo escapes from Lee and flees. Following that, a book depicting Dong-soo's vision is shown, in which everything on how to end people and make their statue is written. It was clear that the man with Dong-soo's eye killed people and erected a statue of them in the city. We see a girl walking to her office while listening to the song Dong-soo. As that song has gone viral, she notices another recently murdered statue in the city. She tells all of this to her friend Mr. Jin, who has bad habits but she likes him. She sings Dong-soo's song in front of Mr. Jin and his eyes start aching. Dong-soo's eyes were also aching. Here it was clear that the man has Dong-soo's eye was Mr. Jin, and he was ending the people in the city. It discovers that Dong-soo's eyes recognize his song and try to connect whenever it plays. He is in pain, and one day he sees a word in his vision. That was corpse art, and when he looked it up on the internet, he discovered who is killing people in the city. Mr. Jin is the man in charge of creating the statues. Now that he is aware of this, he visits Mr. Jin's friend the following day and recognizes her. As he saw her in his dream and inquires about the man she was with the previous evening. The girl says nothing to him and runs away, terrified, because she believes he is flirting with her. Dong-soo doesn't know anything and don't even know how the killer looks. Dong-soo goes to an astrologer and tells him about the symbols he saw and about the dates on which the murders held. The astrologer claims that these events are linked, and that the date for tomorrow is also similar. Dong-soo knows there will be a murder tomorrow, but he has no idea when or where. His friend, the girl who likes Mr. Jin, moves to his house and wanders around. As a result, she discovers the book in which the method for creating the dead was written. She discovers that Mr. Jin is behind all of the murders, and the next day, a statue of him is erected in the city. Everyone goes to see it, and the gang who was behind Dong-soo sees him. They try to catch him and were about to kill him when Lee arrives and saves Dong-soo once more. She tells Dong-soo, "I am a novelist and writing a novel named Connect, in which it is told about the superhumans, like how their body parts reattach even after being separated." Lee saved Dong-soo, so he thanks her and leaves while taking her number. On the other hand, Mr. Jin's friend appears concerned because she has discovered the truth. So he takes her to the roof with him and she says, "I know everything whom you have ended. I'm aware of all the statues," and the man was aware of them while she was saying all of this. Mr. Jin, the man to whom she was telling all of this, notices him when his phone rings. He captures him, brutally beats him, and then pushes him down the roof, making Mr. Jin's friend faint. Meanwhile, her phone rings, and she hears Dong-soo's song. Dong-soo and Mr. Jin's eyes hurt as the song plays, causing Dong-soo to see a vision. He sees that Mr. Jin has ended two people brutally, and seeing it, Dong-soo comes to Mr. Jin's office. Everyone there also discovers about the murder. There was a hustle and bustle and the police also arrived. But Dong-soo has seen Jin's coat, so he chases him to the washroom. He has yet to see his face, and the police have arrested Dong-soo because they believe he is responsible for the murders. Dong-soo says, "Look, I haven't done anything wrong, and the murderer is in the restroom." But no one believes Dong-soo, and how can we forget Lee, who saves Dong-soo yet again? Mr. Jin is shown worried in the office because he believed there were none on the roof except for them. When his eye hurts while listening to Dong-soo's song, he realizes that his eye is the source of all problems. That is transplanted, so the person with the other eye can see everything Mr. Jin does. Dong-soo invites Lee to his home one day and tells her everything, beginning with his childhood. He describes how he fell from a tree and his leg broke, but it healed on its own, earning him the nickname Monster from his friends. "My family also abandoned me," and tells her about the night a few people kidnapped him. They took out his eye, which Mr. Jin now has, and he is the one who is killing everyone in the city, and I want him arrested. But I know nothing about him. Lee is surprised to hear his and tells him not to worry. "I will support you," and makes him wear glasses while saying, "Now none will make fun of you. The people will not recognize you." But when they go to take something from the market, there were his posters. And the police was in search of him, but suddenly, his eye starts hurting. He notices that Mr. Jin was telling him to stay away while he was taking his picture. He discovered that the man who had his eye transplanted was none other than Dong-soo. He also learns about the next murder, which occurs at night when Dong-soo moves out to find Mr. Jin. He was singing his song when his eye began to ache and he saw Mr. Jin the next moment. He pursues him in order to apprehend him, and the police arrive, arresting Dong-soo, who is badly trapped. He can't tell anyone that he has visions of Mr. Jin being the mastermind behind all murders. He was severely beaten in jail, but Dong-soo claims he is not a murderer. "I know who is the murderer." The inspector takes him to the roof. Hearing this, and Dong-soo tells him everything, that Mr. Jin has his eye. He has ended everyone. He shows the inspector his hand while breaking it that joins automatically. The inspector was taken aback by what he saw, and Dong-soo leaps from the roof to apprehend Mr. Jin. Because he knows that even if he is injured or receives a wound, everything will be fine. On the other hand, Jin moves to the doctor-surgeon who transplanted Dong-soo's eye, and the previous scene is shown here. When Mr. Jin came to the doctor and said he needed an eye, the doctor implanted Dong-soo's eye in him as an experiment. When Mr. Jin discovers this, the gang behind Dong-soo comes to check and finds the doctor dead. They discover that Mr. Jin has terminated the doctor, and Lee and Dong-soo are looking for the doctor. Lee sees a man who is behind Dong-soo, sent by the gang who sells organs. Lee captures and ends him. On another side, Dong-soo is happy because his song will be launched by his favorite singer. Meanwhile, Mr. Jin dials a number that Dong-soo can see. They talk for the first time here, and Dong-soo asks why they are ending people. He informs him that I'm a cancer patient and that if I cannot live because of this disease, no one else can. Just see how I will kill the people. Now the police have the dead body of the man killed by Lee. They also obtain evidence against Mr. Jin, as Lee cuts her neck when she meets Dong-soo. And it heals after a while, implying that Lee was also connected and that there may be many other people like us. On the other side, Mr. Jin moves to the singer who called Dong-soo while adopting Dong-soo's getup. And he kidnaps the singer while warning Dong-soo that he will end the singer if he will not reach him till night. The organ-selling gang kidnaps Dong-soo, and Lee tells him to leave because he will deal with them. Lee confronts those thugs, but when a man cuts her face and it begins to heal, they rejoice. There was only Dong-soo, but she is now the same, and we can make a lot of money by selling their organs. Lee was dominant on them and fled from there, while the police obtained all evidence against Mr. Jin. They discover that Mr. Jin is wandering around in Dong-soo's outfit, and Dong-soo also arrives at the location where Jin summoned him. He knows Mr. Jin doesn't know how to fight, so he ends people while they are afraid. Meanwhile, Mr. Jin leaves gas there as a result of it. Dong-soo gets famed and Dee takes him with him. Lee also went to a monster and says now it is the time for you to wake up. It was also like Dong-soo and Lee and takes him with her. Jin also takes Dong-soo to the place he kept the singer. The doctor's body was also hanged, and he has ended him and will soon make a statue of him. Seeing the singer's condition, Dong-soo apologizes to him. Jin claims I have cancer and will die soon, so I will use Dong-soo's body. And will transplant his brain into my body, the body of Dong-soo, but the brain mine. He cuts Dong-soo's finger and shows it to the singer before locking them in a freezer. As a result, the singer dies and Dong-soo becomes enraged. He was now free, and he beat Mr. Jin up a lot while coming out. Lee also arrives with the monster, and when Jin discovers Lee is connected, he attacks her. But Dong-soo appears and severely beats him, while Jin is constantly shooting Dong-soo. He was doing well, and he had also snatched his eye from Jin and was about to kill him. Meanwhile, the police inspector arrives and forbids him from doing so, promising to clear his record. He says you should start your life, and Lee and Dong-soo believe everything is fine now. They were leaving when they noticed many military helicopters because they had learned about Connect. They arrest them. What will happen in the next chapter? What will be done to them by the military? We will find it out in Season 2, here, the story of Season 1 ends. Fearless.